Hi, Mr. Stevens. Thank you so much for joining the call. Look, let's cut right to it. My team have shared with me the feedback that you've given for us. And the first thing I want to say is I'm sorry that we haven't been able to create the experience for you that we genuinely believe like we should be creating for all of our customers. And I understand, based on what was shared, that you have a number of very specific concerns with the product. Now, the first thing I want to say is kind of regardless of what happens in this session, you are obviously free at any time to walk away. I just wanted to take the opportunity to explain to you about how we think about some of these things, how we manage them, but also how we believe we can manage these specifically for you going forward. So the first concern that you apparently had is that, broadly speaking, you just don't see the value. You don't seem to be getting any value out of the product because your customers traditionally have always been able and willing to pay kind of cash or pay on a credit card, and that you've never had people ask for this sort of thing. Now, the first thing I want to say is that's entirely truly possible. We genuinely, we accept that. I think one thing that we always like to say, though, is this isn't necessarily about, winning your existing customers, right? Like, clearly there's going to be a set of people who have already made the choice to buy your products and buy them from you. And you shouldn't be selling to those people on Liquid, frankly. It's always going to be better for you for those to be kind of cash transactions or whatever makes sense for you in the moment and whatever's been working for you historically. What we like to think, though, is that it's about where you kind of aim it. And so specifically, we think Liquid really serves two specific purposes, which is attracting new customers. Now, many of the people who are going to come into your showroom, by definition, if they're already, offering to pay cash, they've got the money at hand. They don't have any concerns. But it's all the people who walk past, take a peek through the window, look at your website, kind of fall in love with your products, but because they're premium products, they potentially price themselves out of the market, and they go down the road and they get something, not as nice, not something that they love, but something that they know that they can afford. That's really who we think something like Liquid is for, right? It's about expanding the population of people who can afford to shop from your store. And the second thing is, when people do come in, it's not about sort of, budget checking them and then, providing a set of products that meets the budget they've defined. It's about helping them fit the dream product into their budget, because, increasing a budget from £5,000 to £10,000, that's a lot of money. But increasing a budget from £200 a month to £300 a month, that's much, much more manageable and much more sustainable for many people. And so it helps them sell more and obviously helps you make more sales. The second concern, and I think it really ties to this idea of who you might be attracting with these sorts of, payment options, is that you worry that it'll bring in customers who maybe just shouldn't be spending this money, right? Shouldn't be extending themselves and potentially shouldn't be taking credit because they might become overburdened with debt. Now, the first thing I'll say is, over-indebtedness is genuinely a problem. And there are many people who have too much debt. Now, at Liquid, we try and manage that in a number of ways. So the first thing is we obviously perform credit checks on all of our customers before we actually enable the loan, as it were. So even if someone wants to buy through Liquid at your store, if their credit record doesn't support the affordability metrics that we maintain, they won't actually be given that facility. And so they would then need to work out with you about whether or not they can still afford to pay cash. And if not, they would unfortunately need to walk away. I think the second thing that we would say, though, is really this should be left up to the customer, is at least our feeling. So obviously we do everything we can. We perform the credit checks. We take a look at their history through open banking to understand their kind of ingoings and outgoings. But ultimately, if customers want to spend on Liquid with you, it's not necessarily a reflection of the fact that they can't afford it unless they put it on finance, but it might be that they're making a choice to buy your products on finance so that they can also afford to go on holiday with their family or put more money into their mortgage or pay for school fees or whatever it may be. It's really about helping them manage and spend money when and how they want to spend rather than dictating to them how they should spend it. So hopefully that addresses your two concerns. But I think ultimately what we're striving for here needs to be something that's mutually beneficial. And I think, whether or not this product works for you, that's going to be entirely up to you. We genuinely believe it will. And we believe that so much, which is why our model is that we only actually make money off of usage. So if your customers don't use it, or if you don't want to use it, if you don't see the value in the facility and you don't ever draw down on it and you don't ever make access of it, we then don't make any money. And we're completely fine with that, because how we like to think of ourselves is growth partners, right? So if you're not growing, we don't want to be rewarded, because we only want to grow when you're growing. So I hope that's addressed your concerns, and I genuinely hope that you'll give us a chance, because I think that this is a fantastic product that could still drive a lot of value for you while still being safe for use for your customers. Thanks so much for the time.